Welcome, beautiful damsels. The sharpest weapon against rudeness is a mind that refuses to be rattled. In a world where encounters with rude people are as common as finding an overpriced coffee shop on every corner, staying composed is a rare and enviable skill. Research even shows that rude behavior can be contagious, spreading like wildfire if unchecked. But for Sigma females, those enigmatic, self-reliant women who move through life with quiet confidence, rudeness is less of a problem and more of a puzzle to solve. How do they do it? How do these women who value independence over approval manage to outsmart rudeness without breaking a sweat? Their approach isn't just practical, it's downright brilliant, with strategies that are equal parts sharp and surprising. Prepare to be intrigued, amused, and maybe even inspired. Because when a Sigma female deals with rudeness, it's not just a reaction, it's a masterclass. Number 1, they outsmart with emotional judo. Sigma females have a knack for turning rude behavior on its head, and one of their most brilliant tactics is using emotional judo. This involves flipping the negativity back onto the offender with a calm and subtle maneuver, leaving the rude person to stumble over their own words. It's not about being confrontational. It's about being sharp, strategic, and in control of the situation. For example, when someone makes a cutting remark, instead of reacting emotionally or snapping back, a Sigma female might respond with, "That's an interesting perspective. Why do you feel that way?" This forces the person to either explain their behavior or awkwardly realize that their comment has no real foundation. It's like handing them a mirror and saying, "Take a good look." The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity. It stops the rude person in their tracks, neutralizing their negativity without lowering oneself to their level. What makes this tactic so effective is that it flips the emotional burden. Rude people often thrive on getting a reaction, but when their target remains composed and calmly redirects the interaction, it robs them of the satisfaction they seek. In some cases, it even makes the offender look foolish in front of others, all without the Sigma female raising her voice or appearing flustered. This approach also showcases the Sigma female's intellectual edge. It's not just about handling rudeness, it's about maintaining her dignity and showing that she's unshakable. Emotional judo isn't loud or aggressive, it's quietly brilliant. And that's the essence of a Sigma female. Unbothered, unbreakable, and always a step ahead of anyone who dares to underestimate her. Number 2, they don't grant the rude person center stage. Sigma females understand that attention is power, and they refuse to hand it over to rude people. When faced with negativity, they don't engage in arguments or allow themselves to get drawn into a drama. Instead, they masterfully shift the focus away from the rude person, depriving them of the spotlight they're so desperately seeking. This isn't about ignoring the behavior altogether, it's about refusing to validate it. If someone makes a snide comment during a conversation, a Sigma female might address it briefly with a calm, pointed response, and then seamlessly redirect the discussion to something meaningful. For instance, if someone interrupts with a rude remark, she might say, "Noted. Now back to what we were discussing." This tactic sends a clear message. Your negativity won't derail me, nor will it control the narrative. The brilliance of this strategy is how it subtly undermines the rude person. By not granting them the attention they crave, it denies them the emotional reaction they're fishing for. At the same time, it reinforces the Sigma female's poise and authority in the room. She dictates the flow of the interaction, not the person attempting to stir up conflict. This approach also preserves her energy. Sigma females don't waste their time or emotional bandwidth on people who thrive on creating chaos. Instead, they stay focused on the bigger picture, prioritizing productive conversations, meaningful connections, and their own peace of mind. In essence, they turn rudeness into background noise, leaving the offender scrambling for relevance, while they continue to command the stage on their own terms. Number 3, they prioritize self-restraint as power. Sigma females understand that true strength isn't in reacting, it's in choosing not to. When faced with rudeness, their first instinct isn't to clap back or get drawn into an emotional exchange. Instead, they practice self-restraint. For them, staying composed is a silent but unmistakable power move. It shifts the dynamic entirely, putting the rude person's lack of control on full display while highlighting their own emotional discipline. This approach works because it's unexpected. Rude people often thrive on provoking reactions, but when their negativity is met with calm indifference, they lose the upper hand. Sigma females don't give them the satisfaction of seeing them flustered or defensive. Instead, they stay steady, refusing to validate the rudeness with any outward sign of annoyance. It's not about suppressing feelings, but about channeling them into something constructive. By holding back an impulsive response, Sigma females take the time to assess the situation. They might be quietly analyzing the root of the person's behavior or deciding the most effective way to respond later, if at all. This calculated approach ensures they remain in control, regardless of how chaotic or disrespectful the interaction may be. What's remarkable is how this restraint speaks volumes without a word. It sends a clear message: I'm above this. While the rude person continues to unravel, the Sigma female's unshakable calm becomes a quiet form of dominance. It's a masterful reminder that sometimes the most powerful statement isn't what you say, but what you choose not to say. In the end, her self-restraint becomes her armor, protecting her peace while leaving the rude person grappling with their own emotional mess. Number 4. They use humor to shift the tone. When faced with rudeness, Sigma females know that humor can be a powerful weapon. Instead of letting negativity escalate into confrontation, they use wit to disarm the situation and turn it into something lighter. Their humor isn't forced or mean-spirited. It's sharp, nonchalant, and designed to take the sting out of the moment while keeping their composure intact. For example, if someone delivers a snarky comment, a Sigma female might respond with a playful, "Wow, did I just wander into an audition for stand-up comedy?" or, "Well, someone's having a spicy day." These quips are casual enough not to provoke further aggression, yet clever enough to subtly call out the behavior. By doing this, they reclaim control of the interaction without coming across as defensive or overly serious. What makes this tactic so effective is how it changes the mood. Humor diffuses tension, often catching the rude person off guard and making them rethink their approach. It's hard to stay hostile when the other person refuses to take your negativity seriously. At the same time, humor allows Sigma females to stand their ground without appearing overly confrontational, a balance that few can master so effortlessly. This strategy also sends a clear message. I see your attempt to provoke me, but I won't let it affect me. It shows confidence, quick thinking, and a refusal to sink to the same level. The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity. It's not about winning an argument, but about neutralizing negativity with charm and wit. In the end, the Sigma female walks away not just unbothered, but often leaving others smiling or even chuckling in her wake. Number 5. They weaponize eye contact. Sigma females understand that sometimes the most powerful response to rudeness doesn't require a single word. They know the weight of a prolonged, unflinching stare, a simple yet commanding gesture that speaks volumes without escalating the situation. By locking eyes with the rude person, they subtly shift the power dynamic, forcing the individual to confront the discomfort of their own actions. This isn't the kind of stare that screams anger or aggression. It's calm, steady, and deliberate, carrying a message that says, "I see you, and I'm not impressed." The effect can be unnerving. Rude people often rely on catching others off guard or provoking a reaction, but when their negativity is met with a steady gaze, it disrupts their rhythm. The silence, paired with unwavering eye contact, creates a moment of tension where the rude person is left to sit in the awkwardness of their behavior. What makes this tactic so effective is its simplicity. It doesn't escalate the situation, yet it establishes control in a way that's hard to ignore. The rude person begins to squirm, either because they're forced to reflect on their words or because they realize their attempt at dominance has failed. It's a psychological power move, one that requires no raised voices or dramatic gestures, just the quiet confidence of someone who refuses to be rattled. For Sigma females, eye contact isn't just a reaction, it's a choice. It's a way of standing their ground without stooping to the level of hostility. In that moment, they don't just neutralize the rudeness, they own the interaction. It's an artful balance of restraint and authority, proving that sometimes the most effective responses are the ones that say nothing at all. Number 6. They respond with unexpected kindness. When Sigma females encounter rudeness, their response is often as disarming as it is brilliant. Instead of reacting with anger or sarcasm, they use unexpected kindness or genuine curiosity to completely derail the negativity. This isn't about being submissive or letting someone walk over them. It's a calculated move that shifts the dynamic and forces the rude person to confront their own behavior. For instance, if someone throws a passive-aggressive comment their way, a Sigma female might respond with a sincere compliment or a warm, unaffected smile. If the rudeness is more direct, she might lean in with a calm and curious, "Are you okay? You seem a little stressed." This kind of response throws people off balance because it breaks the predictable pattern of conflict. Rude individuals often expect hostility or defensiveness in return, but kindness catches them off guard, leaving them unsure of how to proceed. This tactic isn't just about diffusing tension, it's also a subtle form of control. By refusing to mirror the rudeness, the Sigma female asserts emotional dominance, showing that she's unshaken and fully in charge of her reactions. Her kindness becomes a statement. Your negativity doesn't define me, nor does it dictate how I behave. The ripple effect of this approach is powerful. It can cause the rude person to pause and reevaluate their attitude, sometimes even sparking an apology. And even if it doesn't, the Sigma female walks away with her dignity intact and her composure unbroken. Unexpected kindness isn't weakness. It's a strategic, graceful way to rise above, proving that calm and compassion are often the ultimate power moves. Number 7. They call out the behavior directly, but classily. Sigma females have mastered the art of calling out rude behavior in a way that is both direct and disarming. They don't lash out or escalate the situation. Instead, they approach it with a calm, measured tone that forces the offender to reflect. A simple, yet impactful response like, "That sounded a little sharp. Did you mean it that way?" is enough to shift the dynamic entirely. This approach works because it puts the rude person in an unexpected position. Instead of triggering defensiveness or hostility, the Sigma female's response invites accountability. The phrasing is intentional, neutral yet pointed, making it difficult for the other person to dismiss or argue. It forces them to confront their tone and think about how their words come across, all without the Sigma female losing her cool. What's brilliant about this tactic is its balance. It's assertive without being aggressive, direct without being confrontational. It also gives the rude person an opportunity to backtrack or reframe their words, saving face while subtly acknowledging their behavior. More often than not, this creates a moment of awkward self-awareness for the offender, deflating their rudeness without the need for conflict. Sigma females use this strategy because they value clarity and respect. They're not interested in passive-aggressive games or long-winded arguments. Instead, they address the issue head-on, leaving no room for misinterpretation. This not only sets a firm boundary, but also reinforces their self-assurance. Calling out the behavior directly, but with class, allows them to stay true to their principles while maintaining control of the interaction. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful way to stand up for yourself is with grace and precision. Number 8. They leverage the power of questions. Sigma females know that a well-placed question can be far more effective than an emotional reaction when dealing with rude behavior. Instead of snapping back, they use thoughtful, pointed questions that subtly challenge the offender to reflect on their actions. This tactic shifts the focus back onto the rude person, often catching them off guard and forcing them to confront their behavior. For example, when someone makes an unkind remark, a Sigma female might calmly ask, "Do you often talk to people like that?" or "Are you having a rough day?" These questions aren't asked in a mocking tone, but with genuine curiosity. The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity. It's not aggressive, but it's also impossible to ignore. The rude person is left to either justify their behavior or awkwardly acknowledge that their negativity was uncalled for. This method works because it disrupts the usual dynamic. Rude individuals often expect pushback or silence, but being met with a calm, introspective question changes the script entirely. It shifts the emotional weight back onto them, forcing them to explain or, in some cases, reconsider their words. Even if they don't openly admit fault, the question lingers in their mind, planting a seed of self-awareness that's hard to shake. For Sigma females, this tactic is not about being confrontational. It's about staying composed while subtly holding the other person accountable. By asking the right question, they maintain control of the situation and protect their own peace. It's a masterstroke of emotional intelligence, calm, clever, and quietly commanding, leaving the rude person unsettled without a single raised voice or harsh word. Number 9, they redirect attention to the bigger picture. When Sigma females are faced with rudeness in a group setting, they don't get caught up in the individual's behavior. Instead, they focus on the bigger picture, masterfully redirecting the conversation to something more productive. They understand that in a group dynamic, the value of the discussion and the mood of the room should always come first, and they're skilled at steering the conversation in a direction that benefits everyone. Instead of engaging with the rude person directly or allowing the negative energy to take over, a Sigma female might shift the conversation to a topic that adds value to the group. She may casually introduce a new subject, pose a thoughtful question, or highlight something relevant to the group's goals. This subtle pivot forces the rude person to either fall in line or risk isolating themselves further by continuing with their disruptive behavior. What makes this tactic so effective is its ability to neutralize the offender without direct confrontation. The rude individual may feel sidelined, but the group's focus is redirected, preventing the negativity from dominating the conversation. It also showcases leadership. Sigma females demonstrate the ability to remain composed, put the group's needs above personal conflict, and keep things moving forward. By doing this, they not only diffuse the situation, but also earn the respect of others in the room. People begin to recognize the Sigma female as someone who doesn't tolerate disruption, but handles it with grace and intelligence. In the end, the rude person may be left feeling irrelevant, while the Sigma female strengthens her position as the calm, capable leader who keeps things on track, no matter the distractions. Number 10. They view rudeness as reflection, not a personal attack. Sigma females have an incredible ability to detach themselves emotionally from rudeness. Rather than taking it personally or letting it affect their sense of self, they view rude behavior as a reflection of the person delivering it, not a commentary on their own worth. They understand that when someone acts out of anger or frustration, it's usually more about their own struggles or insecurities than anything to do with the Sigma herself. This emotional detachment allows Sigma females to maintain their composure and protect their energy. They don't get wrapped up in the other person's issues or allow negativity to derail them. Instead, they recognize that the rude person's actions are an external manifestation of their internal conflict. For example, someone might be rude because they're stressed, insecure, or dealing with personal frustrations, none of which have anything to do with the Sigma female. By viewing rudeness this way, Sigma females refuse to internalize it. They don't waste time or emotional resources on something that isn't theirs to fix. Instead, they use this understanding to maintain a sense of calm and focus on what truly matters, whether that's their work, their relationships, or their own peace of mind. This mindset also helps Sigma females avoid drama and unnecessary conflict. By not taking offense, they disarm the rude person's power to provoke them. The rude person might be looking for a reaction, but when their behavior is met with emotional neutrality, it loses its impact. It's a subtle yet powerful move that keeps them centered, showing that their worth is unaffected by the negativity of others. In this way, they preserve their energy and continue to move forward, unbothered and unshaken. In the end, Sigma females understand that dealing with rude people isn't about winning battles or proving points. It's about maintaining their peace, dignity, and sense of self in the face of negativity. Whether it's through emotional detachment, strategic silence, or the clever use of humor, they turn rudeness into an opportunity to demonstrate their strength and composure. Their ability to remain unshaken, to call out behavior without aggression, and to redirect energy into something more productive is a testament to their emotional intelligence and confidence. What sets them apart isn't just their ability to handle rudeness, it's their refusal to let it define them. They don't internalize the behavior of others or allow it to derail their focus. Instead, they move through life with the quiet assurance that they are above the petty disruptions others might try to create. In a world that often seems designed to provoke, Sigma females are a reminder that the most powerful response isn't always the loudest one. Sometimes it's the calm, collected, and strategic choice to rise above, to protect your energy, and to move forward. It's this quiet mastery over their emotions and interactions that makes Sigma females not just survivors, but true leaders in any room. If you've found these insights into the extraordinary ways Sigma females handle rudeness as fascinating and empowering, make sure you don't miss out on more content like this. Hit that subscribe button and join our community. By subscribing, you'll get the latest tips, strategies, and real-life wisdom to navigate life with confidence and grace, just like a Sigma female. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Stay sharp, stay composed, and keep mastering the art of handling any challenge that comes your way. See you in the next video. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye and stay blessed.